let's see if everything is going well. Where am I? Flip to the screen. Okay, I think it's okay. So let me just check before. So the audio isn't messed up like 2-3 times before, and I've also realized that if you just let the thing run for close to 30 minutes or more, it starts acting up and you just can't rely on it. It just gets echoey audio, very poor audio. Okay, I think it's doing quite well, and I am mispositioned in in relation to the screen. Okay, I need to make myself bigger here, like this. A little bit bigger. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, totally makes sense. So I was getting some error, which I hope I don't get anymore. Okay, the audio seems okay. So we'll just start with the book. Okay, we are here. We were here, and today we'll deal with something known as boundaries. Okay, it's easy enough concept, but it's important that we don't make it something that is not really how we experience it in real games, and we just can't keep track of it. Okay, anyway, so let's see. So what happens now is, let me open VS Code and also the app folder in which we are working. Okay, so this is the game. Yeah, we are here, and let me turn on screen key so that I can show you screen presses. So what we have now is that if we press these buttons, tap these keys, so it moves. This much we have done. Okay, cool. But what happens now is, if you keep pressing it, it just goes off the screen. It doesn't come back. It's just off there. Okay, you just need to press again a bunch of times to make it reappear, so it can go anywhere. But we know from our experience that real games don't behave like that. So when you are near the boundary or at the boundary, so even if you keep pressing the button that will make your character go off the screen of the gaming canvas, it doesn't make that change anymore, right? So if we are here and then keep pressing left, it should not go up the screen, just should remain there. Or if we keep tapping up arrow, it shouldn't go up the screen in the up. Same goes for the down and the right. So we need to solve this, right? So how do we solve it? Okay, so there are some changes that are made. So I think this is standard code. So this is where we left earlier up to this. Let me open the code. So we have a different value of speed, but it's this. So what this suggests is, so what's written here is, you also get into new variables called player width and player height. Okay, and then we'll make some other changes as well. So for the changes, just let me check quickly. So these are what our input handling, how we are making the ship move in the left direction and the right direction, and in all four directions really. And if we have something else, so this is something that's changing, so just let me write it up quick. So these are the code for handling direction, handling movement in four directions. So I'll explain what are being done and what you can do about it. So this is if args.state dot player underscore x plus player w is greater than args dot grid dot w. Yeah, it's that. Okay, so it's within the, so let me end this real quick. And so what we do here is args.state dot player x args dot grid dot w minus player width. Okay, so what this looks like is if the player width plus where the state is where the player, if you, I think you remember it, that if we play, the way we make the ship appear or change its position is by updating this variable, right? I think you remember this. Yeah, so when we, what's happening is if, okay, there's an error. Let's see what that is. If args.state dot player x, if args.state dot player underscore x plus player y is greater than args.grid dot w, args.state dot player x is equal to args.grid dot w minus player w. So it's, everything is handled. I don't understand why this mistake is happening. So where this app is starting, where this line 27, yeah, line 27, 28, for there. Okay, so this, we have two ends which shouldn't be there. Yeah, so what's happened is, so basically when I started this if argument, if something, so there were two ends, so it was being seen as the end of the whole tick variable, and it was saying that no, so there are an error because there are this code before, after that end, so it was assuming that end was there. Okay, so anyway, so I saw, you saw how debugging works, because I saw where the error is so I saw that there was an extra end lurking in there, and I just deleted it, and it now renders fine. Okay, so So let's see what these two lines mean, what these three lines mean. I'm just explaining to you. I was just going to do that. Okay, so remember that whenever keys are pressed, we see an update in the position of the spaceship, right? We just see that. So what exactly happens? How do you do that? I think you remember. So whenever we had an input with the left and right keyword, left and right, whenever we saw input as left button or the right button, so what happened is we just updated the args.state variable and the player underscore x variable according to the set speed here. Okay, I think that makes sense. So this is how we did it. So what, and remember the game loop. So according to the game loop, everything is checked and updated 60 times per second. So whenever this is updated, so whenever a key is pressed, I'm pressing the right key right now. So what it sees that there is an input and it updates the variable args.state.playerx, and to add 10 to this, 10 to the previous position, and it is rendered there. Okay, so I think that makes sense. So what happens is, what is being done here, so we add two variables, that is player width and player height. Okay, so player width is 100 pixels and player height is 80 pixels. Okay, so what we do here is so player width, so this is basically the width and height of the character, this spaceship. So what happens is, let me just grab my tablet real quick. This is really easy stuff, you don't need to worry about it. Let's just go down, get some real estate down there real quick. So let's say this is where the game is happening, and this is our spaceship. Okay, so we are doing here, so what we are doing here is, if args.state.playerx, so where the player's position is, the x position, plus player.w. okay, so if this position, it will have some value. Let's say it's here in, let's say it's here in 500 maybe. Okay, so if it's 500, and so let's say it's player w, player underscore w, the width of the player, so that is 100 we set it to. Okay, so if this 500, that's a lot of white stuff, so if this 500 plus 100, that is 600. So if this is bigger than args.grid.w, so what is args.grid.w? So that is the width of the grid. And what is the grid? This blue rectangle right here. So this is the blue rectangle right here that we're working with. So this is the grid. Okay, we are inside the grid of the game, and whenever it is there, so whenever it is the value where I am, okay, where the character is, and the width of it, so basically this value 600, and if it's here, so let's say 700, so plus 100, so 800. So whenever it is bigger than this grid.width, so this is what grid.width is. So this whole area is grid.width. Okay, so this whole area right here. Okay, so whenever it is higher than that, that means that we have reached an edge somewhere, like this, or like this, or maybe like this. Whenever we have that value, we just reset it. Whenever we have reached that, we just reset it. We reset it what? We reset it to args.grid.w minus player w. Okay, so whenever we see that the after a key press or some series of key press, the character is just going off the screen somewhere here, here, or here, we just don't allow that to happen. We just don't allow this thing to happen. So how do we remedy that? We just say whenever it is bound to happen, so before making that change, so what the game in, we are writing the code to reset the player's X position to grid.w value, this value. So this is the X position, that is the grid.w. If this is 0, because remember this is the origin right here, this is the origin right here, and so this is, so whatever, if we measure the grid value, so this would be the rightmost point that is allowed by the grid. So okay, let's say this is grid.w. okay, and similarly this would be grid.h, this height. Okay, so this is 0, this is 0 0, this is everywhere the grid height is 0, this point is grid.h is equal to 0, this whole line. Similarly this whole line is grid.w is equal to 0, and then sorry, that's not the right way to put. So this is basically where it is 0. So grid.w, so this is the value of grid.w. So I shouldn't say this grid.w is equal to 0. I should just say the player position. Okay, so that is args dot state dot player x. Okay, so this whole line right here, this whole line, this is args dot state dot player x, this is 0, and here this whole line here, this whole line here, this is args dot state dot player x, that is equal to grid dot w. Okay, so this is the rightmost point that is allowed. So whatever is happening is whenever we are reaching anywhere, okay, we are reaching anywhere, and the next rendering step would be our character would be going off the screen, going off the grid. We don't allow that. We reset it, the grid.w value, and we subtract it from that player underscore w. Okay, so whatever the player width is, so if this is our airplane, okay, so this is our spaceship and its width is 100, we sub 100. Okay, if this is smaller, we would have subbed 10 maybe, whatever. If it's a lot bigger, then 130, okay, or whatever the value is. So basically we don't allow the, so let's say it's here, okay, and it is let's say the grid is 850, and let's say it's 790, and let's say it's 795, just here, somewhere here. Okay, so this is the X position, and if we add 10, that is our speed, remember, so if we add this, then its value will be 805, and let's say it's this part here is, let's say it's 800, so 805 being bigger, 805 being bigger than 800, so this would have taken the airship, the spaceship out of the screen. So we can't really allow that. So to not allow that, we just reset the space to something that is the boundary value minus the spaceship value, minus the width of the spaceship. Okay, so we see that in effect. So let me turn on key presses again. So I am taking in, I'm making it go right, 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 right. See, I'm pressing right. See, this is being logged. I'm pressing it, but it is not going further. So the game engine is checking according to my code. So if I press it, so it will go off the screen. Okay, it's not allowing that, but we have not written the code yet for the top margin and the bottom margin, or the left margin. We haven't done that, so it is not done. So I hope the concept is okay with you, and I'll just quickly implement the other stuff. We'll do the same thing for up and down. So this is basically handling the rightmost part. So let me and do and so what's happening here is it is going up the screen towards the left and towards the bottom too. Okay, so basically this is the origin point, this is the origin point, so we cannot let the spaceship drop below origin point. Okay, so that is the point of this code. If args.set.playerx is less than 0, so pardon me, so for the left side we are checking if it's less than 0. For the right side we are checking if this is greater than args.grid.w. Okay, so you have to think this is quite important, but you don't have to fret it. So here we are taking in our consideration the width and here the height, but here we are not taking those because this won't be okay. Okay, so we need the lower part of the airplane to be lower. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So let me quickly implement those following the book. So here we are basically just doing if it's less than 0, if it's anyhow going to that, if after any update, if after any rendering it is going to go over the left side, don't let it go over the left side. Just re-render it there and do not allow going left than this. Okay, same goes for our y coordinate. So going top and bottom. So okay, now we'll check again if this goes well. So yes, it is stopping on the right side. So you're seeing that my key press is going there, but it's not moving more. Same goes for the up, same goes for down. Let me drag it a little bit up. So let's see that it's just I'm pressing down and down, but it's not working. So again the left is also not working. So this is properly handled. See, all four corners it is handled. It is not going off anywhere. So whenever I am here, let's say whenever I am here, I am pressing left. Okay, I'm trying to go left. Okay, this line of code kicks in. So if args.state.playerx is less than 0, so whenever I am handling this left, whenever the game engine is receiving this left input, it is trying to force the plane, trying to change the position of the plane, the args.state.playerx variable to 5 minus of what 10 minus of what it was before, but this is getting checked. This is getting checked using this. So if it is going to go below 0, sub-0, it's just updating it to be 0 again. Okay, so it's not letting it happen. Okay, whenever I am here, so what is this doing is, if I am going to go the rightmost corner, the rightmost margin, then it's checking that if the rightmost margin is more than my airplane, and the width of the airplane, so it is just not gonna go. It's just resetting my position to be at the last margin allowed. Okay, so whenever I am there, so this piece of code kicks in. Okay, state player is greater than W. Whenever it is going to go there, and this is going to kick in. So it is resetting to the grid value minus the player width value. Okay, so you need to remember something, that this is being considered player W here, and player H, player height here, because on the top side, whenever in the top side, so if we don't handle this, so this might go halfway. Okay, let me do that. Why not do that? So let's just go off and delete this. So why this is important, I'm going to show you. Okay, here, now let's shape this. See, it is disappearing. It's totally disappeared. Okay, because it is going here, outside the boundary. It's totally outside the boundary, or it's totally lost. Why this is lost? I have no idea. This should not be lost. Anyway, so let's update this. And so this is just args.grid.h. It should just be there, but it is not being there. I have no idea why. And let's not do this. Then what happens? Let's see that. Okay, so you see, this is a weird effect. So it is allowing the plane to go halfway outside the screen. Okay, and whenever it is totally outside the screen, it is re-rendering it back to the margin. Okay, kind of margin there, but it is allowing the plane to go off halfway. That shouldn't be the case, right? So we bring back this. So again, we have this nice behavior, and if we did that again, you know that it would have go halfway. We would see the tail of the plane might be there, the cockpit, the engines, the wings, the body, spaceship, all would have gone. We should have just seen the tail end. Okay, and that shouldn't be the case either. So it should be nicely inside the game grid, and that should be the goal here. So this is being handled like this. Okay, I hope it all makes total sense to you. I hope this totally makes sense to you. And see that we also chose to add two variables here so that we can experiment with this. Okay, so if you want the plane to go not that up, okay, so you can you want more margin value, you can change this to more, let's say 100 and 120, and here you see that it is stopping further below. Okay, it is falling, farther away from the boundary in the same way. Okay, but you see the habit, it is not changed in the bottom corner, or in the corner or the left or bottom, because it has also changed. Yeah, see, so we set 100, and on the top we have set 120. That's why it is different. Okay, so I hope this really makes sense to you, and I am changing it back to the book value here. Okay, let's see, it's updated. You see the dragon, symbol over there, so that's basically the logo of the game engine, and they are basically just saying you that the game is reloading, and after that disappears, you know that game has reloaded. Okay, and the changes that you have made, they all have been incorporated in the game. This is pretty fun stuff. Yeah, so on the left it is okay. It is, so this is the vital part that some people might find confusing. So because when we are handling the right side, we are basically adding player width, but when we are handling the left side, we are not adding the player width. So I suggest, I have said and explained this in many words, but if this is not clear, so you just go ahead and write this code and implement this, and try including player W here, and player height here, and see why that is not advisable, not the advisable thing to do, not the right thing to do. Okay, so because in the left 0 is okay, because it is starting from there. Okay, yeah, I'll see that if something else is explained. Okay, okay, so for these extra credit questions, I try to you know I think is implemented there in the game. Let's see. So this is the extra credit question. When you move the dragon horizontally and vertically at the same time, the dragon moves twice as fast. Okay, let's see if that is happening. Okay, this is happening. This is right speed. This is up. If we do this, it's really fast, right? So the corner values are like very very high. So can you change it? Okay, so and it says Ruby has method which ensures that numeric value is between some bounds. Find it and replace our bounds checking code with it. I'm not going to do this. So I hope that you do it yourself. This is not very hard. So I'll give you hints to future video or some other video. Okay. So this is a good time to stop for this video, for this topic. We will cover other things, the firing mechanism. So we'll cover that in the next video. So I hope it's okay to stop here, or do you just want me to do? Let me just see that how much time it takes to implement this. So this is the game that I did. Okay, let me stop the sound. Okay, let's fire. So this is dragon going left and right, up, down. So yeah, so I didn't change here either. So basically what you need to do is find out that if you just if both keys are pressed, so if you just need to add a line that if both keys are pressed, then the speed is lower. Okay, So let's try that. I haven't added it in my game. So let's say change speed. Let's set up an alternative speed. Alt speed is let's half it, 5. Okay, so if both keys are pressed, like left, I am not going to implement it because I need to write 4 different logics. So basically, if args dot inputs dot left and args dot inputs dot say left and right, that don't make sense. So args dot inputs dot left and args dot input dot up. So this is one we need to focus on. So left and up. So if both are pressed, so what we can do is we can just change the x speed and the y speed according to the alternate speed. Let's see if that goes the way we think it will go. Okay, or we'll get something horribly wrong. Let's see that. Okay, so left, it means going this. Okay, and up, so we're finding this. So y should go up. So y should go up and we should go left. Okay, why you're doing like this? All speed. Okay, let's end this if. Let's see if this does what I think it will do. So up, left, same speed. Okay, no, it doesn't. It's just the same high speed, or is it? Yeah, I think it's still going really high. Yeah, it's going really high. So why is this happening? So let's just restart it and see if this is fixed somehow, or is it not. So I'm not going to poke it too much. I'm just going to leave it there and going to fix it later, maybe. So I have halved the speed, so all speed is 5. So do I need to add this as else if? Let's see. So this totally, is this something, a language thing? Yeah. So let's see if that update makes sense. So then it's not going. So if I do this, this works. I do this, this works. Okay, when I do both, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't go. Okay. So I don't know how to do this. Okay, according to this game engine and this logic of this game. So for right now, if I just think for some time, which I'll do after all this, so then I'll just come back and cover this, how to do this. Okay, so let's not implement all this. So I'll just leave it as to do for later. Okay, so let's stop this video right here, and I hope this is okay.